Looking at the news through the lens of birth order can give you a different insight into the behaviors of those involved. Bejamin Netanyahu has moved center stage in the world as Israel fights the terrorist group Hamas, which threatens to destroy Israel. The first Israeli prime minister to be born in Israel, he has held this position in 1996, 2009, 2013, and 2022. Since this blog was first published in 2014, Netanyahu now holds the title of the longest-serving prime minister in the country's history. He has served over 16 years, and he is serving his 6th term. How does his personality affect the decisions he has to make for his country and himself? Understanding his birth order is the key. The Netanyahu family has deep roots in Israel. His grandfather was a Zionist activist, and his mother was born in a part of Palestine that would eventually become Israel. Bejamin was born in 1949, the second of 3 boys. His older brother, Yonatan, was born in 1946, was killed in 1976 in Uganda during Operation Entebbe. His youngest brother, Ido, was born in 1952 and is a radiologist and writer. All the boys spent their early years in Israel, but lived in the United States from 1956 to 1958 and 1963 to 1967, when their father worked at Cornell as a history professor. Bejamin graduated from high school in Philadelphia. All the brothers served in the Special Forces unit of the Israeli Army. Born the second of 2 boys, he has all the characteristics of a second-born. Second-borns have an outgoing personality. They're very competitive, and they want to control their own space. This is the trait of "don't tell me what to do" that gives number 2 the stubborn label. He can appear charming until someone pushes that button, and then they're up against a very formidable opponent. Second-borns are rarely world leaders, as they do not feel the need to tell others what to do, but like to be behind the scenes in a supportive role. In his case, the death of his brother elevated him to the firstborn position in the family. Now he has to act the role of a leader and protector, but has the second-born trait of holding his position, much like Ronald Reagan, who also had an older brother. The number 2 has a very clear picture of right and wrong, and will not change sides to serve political ends. Bibi has a vision for Israel that he is going to defend her right to survive, no matter what the cost. Bejamin comes from a family of all boys. Women are difficult for him to understand since he has no sisters. This is a blind spot for him, but he remains curious. A number 2 birth order will be secretive about his personal life. As an elevated number 1, and in politics, he becomes a very attractive man to many women. Bibi has been married 3 times. While his first wife was pregnant, he was having an affair with his future second wife. With his third wife, he had 2 sons. During this marriage, he confessed on television to having an affair with his public relations advisor. When this passed, he repaired his marriage, but soon after, new information emerged of a 20-year friendship with a married Italian-American woman. This is a recurring issue for Bibi. Now that we know his real birth order, let's see how it relates to his actions as a politician. In his first term as prime minister, he signed the Wye River Memorandum with Yasser Arafat in 1998. He emphasized the 3 no's. No withdrawal from the Golan Heights, no discussion of the case of Jerusalem, and no negotiations under any preconditions. This sounds like a number 2 holding his ground. In 2003, he took the job as finance minister, only after he was provided with an unprecedented level of independence. Second-borns are very good with money, as shown by Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, both number 2 birth orders. He could put to use his manager degree he earned from MIT and the experience working with the Boston Consulting Group. This is where he met his colleague, Mitt Romney. Trying to get the economy back on its feet, he succeeded in passing several long unresolved reforms in the banking system. He was opposed by members of both his and the Labor Party, but he stood his ground. He threatened to resign in 2004 unless the plan to pull out of Gaza was put to a referendum. It was not, and he resigned. This is the number two, seeing the issue clearly in black and white and not giving in. Most world leaders have a number one birth order. Their self-image is the most important thing. Working with Bibi, who is a number two, appearing as a number one, is like oil and water. He differed with Hillary Clinton in 2009 about a Palestinian state, which he would not endorse. She's a number one birth order. His relationship with her will always be adversarial. He also differed with President Obama, who is a one-only double birth order. This happens when 4 years or more separate siblings. Obama demanded that settlements be stopped in Jerusalem. The Palestinians rejected the offer as insignificant. Israel then approved the construction of an additional 1,600 apartments, directly opposing President Obama. Don't tell a number two what to do. During the 2011 G20 summit, the Russian president was overheard saying to President Obama, "I cannot bear Netanyahu. He's a liar." Obama replied, "You're fed up with him, but I have to deal with him every day." Bibi's two birth orders make him act like a one, but respond like a two, leaving these world leaders frustrated and confused. There could not be a better man for the current job of protecting Israel from its neighbors that threaten to wipe it off the map. Bejamin Netanyahu has the skills and desire to protect Israel and its citizens. Having to take on the role of the firstborn after his brother's death has been a unique tool to deal with world leaders. Now you can understand the man and how and why he does what he does. He has said, "Peace is purchased from strength. It's not purchased from weakness." His number two side will not let him retreat. During the time he has been in office, the Trump presidency recognized Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, and Israel gained sovereignty over the Golan Heights. The Abraham Accords were brokered, normalizing agreements between Israel and some Arab states. In 2019, Netanyahu was indicted on charges of bribery, fraud, and breach of trust. After a 3-year investigation, it is still unresolved. On October 7, 2023, Palestinian militants from Gaza launched a major surprise attack on Israel. At this time, Israel is in a state of war against Hamas. This has led to an increased dislike of Netanyahu, as it is perceived by some a failure of leadership. There is a call for him to step down after this conflict is resolved. Will this number two birth order leave office or survive to continue to lead Israel? To find out more about birth order and the unmasking of the people in your life, read Life's Fingerprint, How Birth Order Affects Your Path Throughout Life, by Dr. Robert V.V. Hurst. Also available as a DVD, USB, as audiobook, as well as a hardcover printed book at www.mybirthorder.com.